Hey guys, bubbled the Houston Regional, about 480 people with Dinomorphia again. This is like my fourth regional that I went X2. X2 day one. Sorry, I barely missed day two at the YCS with this at the 250th as well, but got a headache and messed up. But anyways, my losses were pretty tragic. Round 6 and round 9, and I lost to the second and sixth place player in the final standings. And I'll talk about it a little bit afterwards, so you can understand how tragic it was. Anyways, list is really standard. 3-3. I think you have to play 3 and 3. You can cut this down to 2 when you games 2 and 3 if you really have to, but if you don't have names, it turns off some of your other cards, especially on a normal summon. Like, that makes your Sonic not live until you've used a fusion trap, which then leaves you vulnerable to stuff like Storm as first action, right? So I like 6 names. I've seen 5. I think 6 is better though. Frost was my consistency card. I've seen Fossil Eggs, I've seen Misk. With the Fossil Eggs, I've seen Duality. I like Duality, but I'm not playing the Supreme King stuff, so I'm playing this instead. If I'm playing Supreme King, this is Dualities instead. Dualities with like a Demise, because that card's absurd if you ever resolve it. 3-3 of the Fusion Trap, of course. If you don't see them, you're not playing. Intact. Supposedly, this is the new card. Supposedly, it's insane. It barely came up all day. I used it for the battle protection more than anything. Sent off Diplos, so I mean, it was fine. I honestly kind of wanted to play Strike as well, but didn't have space. So, Brute, 2 Blue, 2 Alert, 1 Sonic. This is because Trap Trick had to play 2 and 2. Alert's insane, especially right now where they'll out your Rexstrom and they're like, okay, now I just kill them, right? And then you just alert the Rexstrom back. And usually they'll have 1 out, they generally won't have 2 outs. So, and I like Brute. In previous lists, I'd been playing 3 Sonic, but don't have space with the Trap Trick build, so. Prejudgment, Dinomorphia card, right? Then we had 3 goes. So these were my floods. 3 goes in, 3 skill drain. Skill drain was insane all day. Goes in was awful. This card never did anything except stop my Rex from getting gamma sealed once. So in theory, this card is okay. It is like decent because it hits like the Sword Soul deck, which you have a hard time against. It hits Cash. Like, this card says Cash can't play unless the opening play is special friend rare and you don't have a fusion trap, right? But I didn't play against any of either of those. So I played against marincess twice, and this card is like, they laugh at me. Played against Labyrinth twice, they laugh at me. Played against Rikka, it was okay. It wasn't great. It like got them locked into the Sunavalon cards, but not the so they couldn't use Rikka cards, but it didn't really matter because they're losing the Rex anyway. And against Exosister, useless. Against Floo, again, like, it was pretty useless. Anyways, skill drain was insane though. Game 1, generally, I would prefer to be under skill drain than Rex. As dumb as that sounds, because Rex can get like randomly outed by talents, whereas skill drain can't, right? And that was like something that was really prevalent at the regional, was a lot of people were maining talents and playing talents. So just flipping a skill drain and playing Kent beatdown was better than going like Kent copy trap summon Rex, right? Because that plays into talents. And there's so many games like I win game 1 and then my opponent just like reveals information to me. Like, I don't know why they revealed the information, but like round 8, like my opponent's like, oh yeah, I had talents that whole time. Oh yeah, I mean, I was playing around it, right? It also plays around thrust, so you don't get thrusted for like one of Duster. Anyways, Fair Flames, again, I was playing Trap Trick. This card's okay. I really like it when it's good, but this card is like so hit or miss, right? Because like if your fusion trap gets stopped and you don't have a way to burn yourself, this card is literally just dead. A lot of times I prefer this to be a torrential, but torrential is better going second as well. I don't know. Fair Flames is good. When it's good, it's really good. When it's bad, it's fucking useless. So anyways, 2 Trap Trick. I wanted to try it. It's a consistency card. This deck has a lot of issues if you don't see a fusion trap. So this lets you see a fusion trap, and then it can also be a Ferret Flames for a board clear. It can be an imperm to turn off like a Floodgate or something. I mean, It was good most of the day. I only locked myself once, and that was really bad, and I should have lost, but my opponent misplayed. Um, and the reason these are trap tricks as well over the, was it trap track or something? The one that destroys a monster? Like, in theory, that card's really good if your engine is going, right? Because you can destroy like a Diplo's or a Theresia and then get the float, and you don't need to play two ofs. But this card says I play even if I don't open a fusion trap, right? And that's just objectively better. So, and that's like the issue with the deck, right? Is you only have 9 copies of your fusion trap. So, and that's if Theresia goes through, which it usually didn't. And then 3 Imperm, this was like my one hand trap. I liked it because, again, it didn't play in the talents, which, again, was huge the entire event. And set it off trap trick. This card was, again, meant to be played versus the, what do you call it? Again, like Sword Soul and stuff, where you see that they're going to search for, like, a back row out, or, like again, Sprite, it's not too bad either, right? Because you hit the jet, and then they don't get to the double cross or the smashers, which are their engine outs for Rexstrom. So, anyways, card was okay. Impermed a few Rabinas, which was funny. Sorry, actually, we'll go extra deck. It's really mixed up, but we have the normal Dinomorphia lineup, which is 3 Rex, 3 Theresia, 2, I don't know, Pterodactyl. This card's awful. But you could, I think in the future, it's possible to cut this down by 1 more as well and just play 2 Rex. Theresia is the MVP of the deck, and I never go through all 7 of my fusion, or 8 of my fusion. I always have like 2 left. So you could do this. I think there's an argument for doing this, especially now that Cash isn't extra deck ripping you anymore. So, anyways, that was Dinomorphia cards, extra deck. Random other cards, Punisher, because I'm siding a hand trap. Chaos Angel, in theory, this is good. In theory, because Kent plus any of your Dinomorphias make this, and then it turns that into like an out, plus you get battle protection, so you can just like sit under with like a Dibbles or something. You're never dying by battle until they out it. Never made it, but that was the idea. Then we had the Dinosaur Xyz. Made these, but these are like only at the end of the game. Like, your opponent has set a card, you go main phase, you say first action, so you resolved alert last turn, first action, just go into one of these. That often won games. The only other time I went into one of these was when I was under, what's it called again? So silly. Grave of the Super Ancient Organism. And then I just used use these with, I think, skill drain up, and it was just a beatdown. So. Then I played Tornado Dragon. This was supposedly for lab, never made it. I wanted to try this card, number 60. Idea being is sometimes off of alert, I would rather just draw cards and try and hit floods than go into like one of these. But again, never came up. It also gives you OTK with Kent under skill drain. And then Zeus never came up besides overlaying in a beatdown scenario under skill drain. So that was extra deck. Side deck, MST. This was, so you can't play Cosmic in this deck. I didn't want to play blowout traps because Labyrinth, that furniture build, doesn't set a lot of cards. They set like 2. And MST can be chained to can be chained to their first trap they activate. So like if they end with like a set 2, right? If it's welcome, big welcome, normally that leads you to get Eradicator, right? But if you play MST, what you can do is you can actually, as soon as they in standby phase, they'll go like, okay, big welcome, welcome, summon lady or whatever. Then as soon as they activate the first trap, you can just chain MST on the second trap, and then you can't get Eradicated, right? They have no traps to trigger lady. That was the idea. Ash, this was for Branded, and this was for Labyrinth as well. Because again, Ash on big welcome generally stops their turn, or stops you from getting eradicated. Shifter, this was just like going second versus combo. Honestly, it was pretty good when I drew it. I drew it versus mathmech once. I drew it versus marincess one. So I even kept in going first versus those decks as well. But never drew it. So obviously we have anti-spell. And then the last 3 cards, these were like, I go first. Imperm always came out for these cards. The last 2 Sonics, and this was just like a 15th. So the summon limit, just best generic going first Floodgate. It hits everything. So that was my side deck. Like I said, the list was really good. I think the deck's insane. I lost to variance. My round 6 opponent, I was XO, and I lost the die roll, and he playing Furniture Labyrinth, and I get eradicated for 6. I was like, okay, whatever. And then game 2 and 3, again, it's pretty rough going second against Furniture Lab, knowing they have Eradicator in their list. So I won game 2. Skill Drain Beatdown. Skill Drain's actually pretty good versus that deck. Your monsters are bigger. You float when your stuff gets destroyed. They don't, so you get more value out of it. And then game 3, I think I got Eradicated again. So didn't draw Ashes. Is what it is. And then round 9. I'm X1, table 4, I think it was. So obviously if I win, I'm in top. I actually had the best record out of the X2s, so I'm pretty sure if I won, I would have gotten like 3rd. But anyways, I ended up losing because I lost the die roll. They were on Furniture Labyrinth. They saw what I was playing against because I was in the table next to them on round 8, which I won. And they were watching me, so they're like, "Oh, you're on Dinomorphia." So he just, okay, draw phase, Eradicators me for 5, and then I'm just like, okay, Theresia, and I guess that got impermed. I think it was. I forget. I lost. And then game 2, I won again, and then game 3 we got, I don't think I got Eradicated because I finally drew the Ash, but like, dude, that matchup is really rough. If you, because it was like I drew double Diplos. It was double Diplos, double alert, I think, which was really bad. So, anyways, like I said, in a different world, I definitely topped that. The lost round 9 made me really, really annoyed, especially with how it was again Furniture Labyrinth and got Eradicated, and I didn't draw my like anti-Eradicator cards. So. Anyways, that was the Houston event. I think the deck's really good. I think it's the best trap deck besides Labyrinth, but that's only because Eradicator exists. I think this deck is better against non-trap decks than Labyrinth. Like, Labyrinth destroys trap decks because they just say, like, everything says pop a card, especially when they get to the field spell. And then, again, they can just Eradicator you. But against monster decks, this deck is way better than Labyrinth. Like, Labyrinth have to actually hand trap and stuff, whereas this deck is like, no, like Rextrum exists, right? So anyways, that was the event. Thanks for watching. I can't believe I haven't topped with this deck yet, but I think this is like my 4th X2. So anyways, we got pretty close. Again, losses were to 2nd place and 6th place, so I was the best X2. So talk to you guys later. Peace.